Pac-12. What did you just make of his performance?
I've said this all along. He's got big-time skills, tremendous run after the catch ability. I think that was pretty obvious. I think he's displayed that since he really arrived at ASU, and Saturday was just like the cherry on top, right? Yeah. Doing what he does. That's who he is.
It was high on your wish list for him to replace the production of N'Keal Harry. Obviously, on pace to do that.
Right.
How satisfied are you with that specific aspect?
Oh, tremendously satisfied, but it's not a surprise for me. I said this from really since last spring. This guy's got all the ability in the world. He's got the ability to be a number one. He is a number one, and he's so good with the ball in his hands. I mean, that's really the X factor. His run after catch ability is he's like a running back when he gets the ball in his hands.
I told Jaden next time he throws for over 300 yards, he needs to earn it. He can't throw a 10-yard out to BA and then BA take it 80 yards. I mean, would you agree with that?
Well, I don't know. They don't take those away from you. So, but he threw it. Brandon was hot, and he's superior at that route, at what we call that bang 8 or that glance route. He sticks his toe on the ground. He's got such quick eyes and strong hands, and then the ability to jump off the spot and split the defense. And not many guys can do that. It's hard to do.
For Brandon to do that when he was sick and battling through cramps too, what does that say about him and his ability?
Well, with cramps, look at these guys. With the cramps he had, you can't take any chances with that. He cramped up, so he had to get fluid. So, they ran him in there. And there's no doubt it took a little bit for him to overcome that. I thought Jordan Porter did a great job going in and creating some production when he got in there, and we were able to give Brandon a little bit of a break, but there's no doubt if he was able to go, stuck him in at the right time on that last touchdown.
Do you feel the depth, by the way? You talk about Jordan Porter, Ricky, and Jordan Curley seeing a lot of time. I mean, are you pleased with the depth compared to last year?
Love it. We got, as I've said, me and Rob say the baby devils. One time we had 3 freshman receivers out there, and they're all talented. They all kind of got a unique skill set, but could be more pleased. I've said all along the future at this position is tremendously bright.
I'm doing something on Ricky. Tell me about what does he bring to the table?
Ricky is Raging Bull. That's what I call him, Raging Bull. He's got an edge to him. He's tough. My kind of guy. I'm just that's who I am. Kind of an old country guy. I like tough guys. I like smart guys. He's both of those. Extremely fast, and he plays fast. When you watch him run a route, he plays at full speed, and he's really done that since day one, and that's not easy to do. A lot of times you get to thinking about what you got to do. He just lets it loose and goes.
And you don't seem afraid to throw these freshmen right in there.
No. That's the Herm effect, Coach Herm. We play our young guys if they're deserving of playing, and they're future. They're the future for us. So we want to get their feet wet, so to speak, and they played a lot of plays for us and create a lot of production.
Do you see them getting on a good page with Jin, being that he's a true freshman, and they're going to be playing together for a while?
That's their guy. They're going to be together for a long time. So every game they play together, I've said before, every practice throughout the year, they're going to have an opportunity to really build that, that unique chemistry that you got to have.
As a coach, Charlie, how gratifying has it been to see Brandon evolve into the player that I know you felt he always could be?
Well, we felt like from the time he got here, he had a special skill set. And what's unique as a coach is just to see his growth through last year and then the last half of the season, how he took off. He topped it off with the bowl game. I've said all along, how you finish the season will lead into the off-season. The off-season, throughout the summer, if a guy's productive in the off-season, it's going to lead right into what he's doing now. So it's not a surprise for me. When I see a guy build off production and success the way he has, it's no surprise. And we said that all along.
Where does he rate in terms of yards after catch among receivers you've seen?
That I've been around?
Yeah.
I've said before, he reminds me a lot of Torrey Holt in terms of the ability for run after the catch. Earl Bennett was really good. He's built like Earl, who I had at Vanderbilt that was a dynamic receiver for us, because the Brandon and Earl are both built like running backs. And even Holt, to that end, had legs like a running back. So guys that are strong, and that's what I like, strong lower body guys that can break tackles, and Brandon is strong through contact, and he's hard to tackle.
When you look at the Utah secondary, what are some of the defining traits? How would you compare them to Cal and Michigan State?
Well, they're similar, They're very physical. I think they probably are as physical, rambunctious group as we played. I mean, they'll go after you now. They're very physical. Play a lot of press man. They're not afraid to play press. It doesn't matter who they're playing. They get up, they'll get right in your face. They do mix some other coverages in there, but at the end of the day, their identity is a man team. So they want to get their hands on you. I think if you look back a year ago, we felt like number one shadowed Nikhil the whole game. He did. Nikhil was able to continue that battle and win some big fights at the end. And I would presume that he's going to shadow Aiyuk most or all of Saturday night.
I know sometimes weather can be overanalyzed too much, maybe more by fans than it is by coaches, but do you have a plan for a drier afternoon or wetter
my plan
afternoon?
is I grew up in the Northeast, so I'm used to cold weather. No, we'll be all right. I tell the guys, no sleeves. Let's go bare arm. Let's go. Whether they listen to me or not, they probably think the old man's crazy. But I'm kind of that mindset. I like guys that don't. Like the elements don't phase you. Let's go. Don't just block them out. Because once you start playing, really, 40 degrees has no effect. Now, if it gets down in the 10s and 20s, that's a little bit different. But in the 40s, shouldn't really be a problem.
But in terms of the rain, I mean, do you run routes that are maybe more rain friendly? For lack of a better
if I'm not mistaken, they're on turf, so that makes a big difference. It's not like back in the 70s when you played the old ryegrass, right? And you couldn't get your foot in the ground without sliding all over the place. I think that part will be okay. You've got to catch a wet ball, so you got to be extra sure of it. You got to look it in. You got to make sure you've got it, and whatever you got to do to corral it, you got to do that. But we try to limit that and just say, man, let's go play. Let's do what we do. This is what you're trained to do. Let's do it.
Last year's Utah game was Brandon's first 100-yard game, and really kind of helped jumpstart that run that you mentioned. Do you remember anything in particular from that game where just things looked different or it just clicked for him?
Well, I guess the thing I remember the most is the missile screen he caught early in the game, and he showed what he shows all the time, that explosiveness. He broke 2 tackles, went down the sideline, and that kind of ignited us. And I really look back on the Utah game, I thought, maybe that's the best game we played all year. We were really good from beginning to end. He was a big part of that, but it's just part of his growth. He's a very talented player. So talented players get better every week, and he works hard. He wants to do good. He likes to be coached. And when you put all those elements together, you get a chance to be good.
When you say Benjamin catch 4 passes in a row in a game-winning drive, do you take some credit for that, Coach?
Well, Jaden Daniels, just you have to tip your hat to the young guy at quarterback because it's not easy to have that kind of composure in such what can be a stress-filled situation, though. You never know that by Jaden. He's one of those guys that's that it factor, whatever you want to call it, a guy that's kind of got it under the gun, doesn't get rattled, just keeps his poise. I thought the one where he's about tackled and he flipped it, kind of Utah style and when that happens, you start thinking, okay, something good's going to happen here. Because you just have a feeling if you can kind of get going in the 2-minute drive, get that first play, whatever it looks like. And we actually, not mistaken, we ran the ball in the first play, I think. And we broke a long run and kind of got moving. And once you get that rhythm, it's hard to stop a 2-minute drive. It's hard to define momentum, but you can see it in a 2-minute drive probably as good as anything in sports. So
kind of the outside looking into Eno as far as a pass-catching running back, how would you grade him in your experience?
Oh, he's talented. He's got really good hands. He's so good once he catches it because he has the make-you-miss factor like Brandon. He can make the first guy miss, and he was running the ball so hard. The determination in that guy was, you could just see he was going to take it on his back and say, man, we're not letting this game get away.
Speaking of make you miss, that reception, obviously Kyle Williams gets it on the sidelines and he stops on a dime and makes that guy miss. Do you feel he was channeling his inner Eno there?
Well, it sure looked at, Kyle's got a good make you miss factor too, as I told him. Kyle did a great job. He made that guy miss and darted down the sideline. That was a huge play for us. So, we got veteran players out there, him and Frank and Brandon, and you want to see those guys respond in big situations, and they certainly did.
How can they help the team respond to it? Obviously last year, we all know Utah's a physical team. Yep. You hear about it, not just hear about it, but you see it on the film, see everything. For, the younger guys, the freshmen, how is it important to kind of keep them focused, not get too over-worried about the physical, but kind of help them get ready?
That really doesn't bother me because we preach that. I don't like, they hear me say, I don't like a bunch of soft guys at wide eye. I want a bunch of tough guys that roll their sleeves up and go to work and stick their nose in there and just, blue-collar guys. They hear me preach, they probably get tired of hearing me say it. But honestly, you hope that they reflect that a little bit, like your coach likes them to play. They work hard. They're willing to block. We got some tough guys. But when you got a guy like Eno that can run the ball, mean, you got to do your job. You have an obligation to the team to get your guy blocked because he has the ability to take it the distance anytime. And it doesn't matter whether it's a run or a pass. If you're running a route, we drop it off to him. Don't be a spectator. We got enough of those in the stands, right? Go block somebody.